Hi everyone, my name's Ruth Francis and I work at the East Sussex Careers Hub based at the County Council. Today we're joined by Gary Stevens from Focus SB in St Leonard's, who's going to talk to us about his apprenticeship. Hi Gary.
Hi Ruth, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay.
So Gary, I wonder if you could, first of all, just to give people some background, can you tell us what Focus SB does?
Yeah, Focus SB manufacture electrical accessories. So to kind of you and I, that's light switches and sockets that we use every day in the house. But we're a little bit different in terms of we manufacture for the kind of top end residential and hotels, for the rich and famous, I guess. So we're manufacturing products in all sorts of weird and wonderful finishes, from bronzes to chromes to nickels, etc., etc. And also we're the first manufacturer, UK manufacturer, to be granted a license to sell our products into the Chinese market. So it's a little bit of a Coles to Newcastle story.
Amazing, thank you. And you're managing director, I should say, as well. So you are in charge.
I am, yes, yeah.
Fantastic. So you were saying earlier that you left school at 16 and went straight into an apprenticeship. So I'm wondering if you could just tell us how that came about.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was born and bred in Birmingham. Still actually live in the West Midlands. I left school in 1979 when the West Midlands, I guess, was still the hub of British manufacturing. And so it was almost an assumption that as a young guy leaving school that's the sort of industry that you would go into. And apprenticeships, I should say, were pretty much available in lots of the giant kind of manufacturing companies that were based in the Midlands at that time.
Okay, interesting. So your family were quite happy with your choice as well, were they?
They were, yeah. I mean, it's kind of times have changed, haven't they? And you know the nowadays, I guess, university is almost expected in a lot of instances, whereas back in 1979 it was the exception rather than the rule.
That's
Um,
interesting.
and so yeah, going into manufacturing or engineering was pretty much the expected thing to do.
Okay, brilliant. So you had quite a big choice of apprenticeships local to you. So which one did you end up picking and why did you go for that one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as I say, there was lots and lots of big companies, large and small companies in the West Midlands, and I think I was offered about 11 apprenticeships at the time. And I chose to go for a company called MEM, Midland Electrical Manufacturing Company. And the main reason I chose that, and they weren't a small company, but they were little known, if you like. The main reason I chose them was because they manufactured everything on site, and when I say everything, I mean everything. So they had their own foundry, they had their own plastic injection molding, their own metal finishing, plating, spray painting. They even manufactured their own screws and their own machines. They had a tool making facility, a special purpose design and manufacturing facility, as well as all the usual kind of manufacturing departments that you'd expect to see in a manufacturing and engineering company, as well as the kind of support services around that, the design, drawing office, and all of the admin support services. So it represented quite a good opportunity to get a very, very rounded experience.
Fantastic. So that might be something that someone thinking about doing an apprentice would do well to bear in mind. Think about the range of things that you're going to get to experience on your apprenticeship, because that's really going to help you.
Most
Um,
definitely.
mm. So yeah, Gary, thinking back, I mean, do you remember what your first day was like?
Um, yeah, well, it was quite a journey because I lived on one side of the city and the factory was on the other side of the city. So it was two bus rides. So it was getting up very early and getting home very late. And I guess the first day was almost a little bit like the first day at school or first day at college. where you're meeting your new kind of classmates. There was an intake of about 20, I think, at the time. So we were all there kind of getting kitted out with our overalls and tools and that sort of thing. So yeah, and I remember the first pay packet at the end of the week as well, which was quite nice.
Yeah, brilliant. So in terms of all the different areas that you spoke about, yeah, tell us what you actually ended up getting involved with. What was the work side of the apprenticeship?
So it was a 5-year apprenticeship, technical apprenticeship, and the first year was almost like being at school in terms of it was workshop based, so it was a lot of metalworking skills were taught, and at the same time we spent 1 day a week at college. Where we were studying for various qualifications. Mine was ONC and HNC in mechanical and production engineering. And yeah, and then we spent the next 4 years after that moving through all of those various departments that I mentioned earlier, and getting an idea of how the whole thing came together. And then in the final year was the year that you, if possible, it was the year that you kind of specialised or entered the area that you really wanted to end up in, if you like. And that was yeah, that was kind of the whole 5-year journey for me.
Yeah, it's a big commitment, isn't it? A whole 5 years.
It is, yeah.
But it took you on yeah, quite a long journey. So in the course of those 5 years, like, what would you say were the different skills that you acquired along the way?
Well, I think going from school into a work environment is a big transition. You're going from kind of school to an adult environment. So I guess you build up a confidence in you're treated as an adult, whereas at school obviously it's slightly different at times, and you learn those kind of communication skills. I had to communicate with adults and also adults at various levels within their careers and the organisation. And I think that communication skill, for me anyway, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important skills we can learn for both life and career.
Yeah, sure. Really interesting. So what were the sort of highlights of your time as an apprentice? What did you really enjoy?
It was, I guess, that learning and earning. I guess the whole concept of learning a new trade, learning a new skill, or lots of new skills, but earning a living at the same time. So I kind of you get the best of both worlds, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the kind of the one take I get from an apprenticeship.
Yeah, it certainly is motivating to get that pay packet at the end
Absolutely.
of the
week. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, so obviously some of the people watching this might be going through their mind just thinking, is an apprenticeship for me? So what would your kind of advice be for anyone who's sort of thinking about it?
I would say definitely go for it. There are much wider choices nowadays for apprenticeships. So the types of apprenticeships that you can undertake are much broader than when I undertook it. But I think what I would say is kind of, if you look at the area or the industry that you think you've got an interest in, try and get some work experience. Approach some companies who are in those sectors. And ask them for some experience, which gives you a taster of how life would be, and also it may open up the door for you with those particular companies who might be looking for a young person to take on and train going forward.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, Gary. And also, we're in lockdown at the moment, but there are a few companies that are doing some kind of virtual online work experiences. So it's worth having a little Google to see if there are any that are in those industries that you're interested in, as Gary says, so you can sort of follow that up. So just to finish up with, Gary, you were saying that obviously, you did your 5 years, really sort of intensive stuff. but you've still sort of throughout your working life, you've carried on that theme of combining work and study. And I just wondered if you could tell people about some of the achievements that you had along the way.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that for me is a part of my career that I would certainly wouldn't change. I would recommend it to anyone. Not only because all of my career, the qualifications that I've embarked upon have been sponsored by the company I've been working for. So it's been no cost to me in that respect, apart from time and effort. But yeah, I went on to join a company called Wandsworth Electrical and worked for them for 26 years. I joined them as a trainee sales representative. And during those 26 years, I studied for a Chartered Institute of Marketing diploma, and followed that up with a master's degree in business administration, as I say, all sponsored by the company. And at the same time, went through a series of promotions from marketing manager to sales director, and finally ending up as managing director of that company. And then in 2013, I moved to Focus SB as managing director of this company.
That is so impressive. Thank you. So just to finish up and building on what Gary has just said. So if that's sown a bit of a seed for you and you're thinking an apprenticeship could be really interesting, as your careers advisor will also say, the best place to start is the government website, which is www.gov.uk/apply-apprenticeship. So that will tell you, that will basically give you access to the apprenticeships that are currently on offer. It doesn't tell you about every single one that's out there. So another good tip is also to look on college and training provider websites, and also on employer websites, because they might not have put their vacancy up on the National Apprenticeship Service. But if you do decide to do an apprenticeship, we'd also suggest that you also try and get onto a college course as well as a backup, just in case the apprenticeship falls through for any reason, given the economic downturn that we're currently experiencing. So good luck, everyone. I hope this has been interesting. And just to conclude by saying thank you so much, Gary. I think that was excellent. And yeah, I really enjoyed hearing more about your career. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Ruth.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.